Drivers and guides, this little video clip is about the interior controls of the mostly new type sprinters that we've got now. And I'll try to give you a little overview. Let's start with the center console. I don't need to explain you the radio, but I should mention that you can connect your phone, if it supports Bluetooth, to the radio and receive calls through the radio. However, all calls will be relayed to the speakers, so if you've got passengers, then everybody can listen to your call and you can actually share the conversation with them. Then below the radio you've got the controls for the heating and the fans. Anything to the left of my hand refers to the passenger compartment, and anything that is to the right of my hand refers to you, the driver, and the dashboard. This one is the control for the temperature of the air that comes out of the bottom floor air vents under the passenger seats on the left hand side. You have to switch on the rear fan, and then you can control the fan speed with these buttons. If you want the air to be hot, turn it to hot, and if you turn it to cold, it does not become aircon cold, it just goes back to ambient temperature. It does not go into aircon apart from the 2013 buses, where it automatically switches to aircon, and the air will then switch from the floor vents to the overhead vents once the aircon is activated. However, on the 2013 buses, if you want it to go into aircon, you will have to press the AC button. It says A or C, but anyway, AC button is the button for the aircon. We'll get there in a moment. This one is the button that can defrost and de-ice your windscreen. It supplies very warm, dry air to your windscreen, but you don't really need it because you normally can do this with your normal air vents. The middle dial is the dial that you can use to set the direction of the air that comes out of the dashboard. Now, if you put it to the upper position here, it does come out of the air vents to the windscreen, and you can defrost your windscreen with this as well. And then you can set the air to come out at your feet, which is very nice in winter. And the next one is the aircon button. It's on all buses between 2010 and 2012, only for the front dashboard, for the front part of the vehicle, not for the passengers. On the 2013 buses it will also include the passenger aircon, which then activates the aircon if you turn the left hand dial into aircon mode. If you have a smelly vehicle in front of you, that's the air recirculation button. It shuts the air intake for the fresh air in the engine compartment so that any smell from the outside will not come in, and the air inside is just recirculated. These buttons control the dashboard fan, only the dashboard fan, so that's your aircon, the driver's aircon and air supply. And this one again is the temperature control for the driver. It's a climate control actually, because you can set the temperature, you can set specific temperatures. It's however not for the passengers, for all, well actually for all buses here. And if you want to cool down your passengers on all buses between 2010 and 2012, you will find a little round button here, 1, 2, 3, which controls the air coming out of the air vents overhead the passengers. It only controls the air speed, but not the temperature. So once the aircon is on stage 1, the air flows slowly out of the air vents, where it flows fast if it's on stage 3. The coldest air will be consequently on stage 1. If you switch from off to stage 1, you should hear a clearly audible click from the engine compartment, which indicates that the compressor is actually being engaged and the system is working. If there is no click, this is something I might ask you over the phone if you report aircon problems while you're on tour. So listen for that click. Right, we'll go over to the next one. This is the switch panel on the left hand side of your steering column, the lower switch panel. there is a microphone button on the 2012 buses here. It switches off and on the complete PA system. It's basically the switch for the amplifier, where all PA stuff goes through. There are separate switches for the handheld mic and the driver's microphone. The driver's mics have got a little round switch on the right hand side of your dashboard, and the handheld button's got a slider switch which you can operate when you hold it. However, if you want any PA to work, then you have to switch on the amplifier. If you switch on the amplifier, all music that comes from the radio will also be relayed to the rear speakers. The second button is a bit misplaced here, but it's the button for the front fog lights, which are the small little lights in the front skirt, the lower lights there. So be careful, don't switch it on when you don't need it, you might blind oncoming traffic. The next two actually are interior light switches, and the left hand button is the timer switch. If you switch off the ignition and take the key out and you press the switch, you will get about 10-15 minutes for all auxiliary devices like this, the fridge, the PA, the interior lights, and then this timer switch will switch it off automatically. If you press it again, you will get another 10-15 minutes out of it. It also includes the electric door, so be a bit careful because you can actually drain the battery with this. If you operate the door 10-15 times or something, then the battery will go flat. So be a bit careful with this timer switch. And next to the timer switch here you've got the door switch, which operates the electric door. We'll have a separate video clip on the electric door because it has turned out to be controversial, problematic, or whatever you want to call it. Right. The gear lever is something I should mention as well. It's a typical automatic gear lever. However, if you put it into drive, you will see a plus and a minus next to the letter D. If you push the vehicle to minus, to the left, you can limit the highest gear the gearbox would change into. Have a look on the center dashboard here. You've got the indicator which shows you in which gear you are, and I hope this is visible on the video. By default, you can see how I switch between gears now, and if I put it into drive, it should display a D. If I push it to the left, well, the gear lever to the left once, it limits the gearbox to go into fourth gear maximum, or third gear, or second gear. What you can use it for is quite handy if you go down a hill and you want to use the engine braking. Then you can actually limit it and make it shift back. If you're in fifth gear with your gearbox, then push it to the left, it goes into fourth, push it again, it goes into third. However, you cannot make it change gears upwards. You can only remove the upper limit or shift the upper limit to a higher limit. It will not change gears on demand. What it will do, however, if you push it towards plus, you can trigger it to change gears a bit earlier than it would normally do. Something for you to play with. I'll put it back into P. Have a look again at the center dashboard. Of course, here you've got the triangle, which is the hazard lights, hazard warning light button. Next to it is the ASR off button. The ASR is basically a traction control system that should prevent your wheels from slipping on slippery ground. It's good to switch it off if, for example, you get stuck in snow and you have to rock the vehicle back and forth to get out of some hole where you get stuck on slippery ground, mud, snow, or whatever. By default it's switched on. If you press the button you can switch it off. And now have a look at the center dashboard again. You will see a little triangle there, and I'll switch it off and on so you can see it actually, what's happening there. The triangle comes off and on. If the triangle is on, ASR is switched off. And you will also see a message saying that the service is overdue by almost 26,000 kilometers. Don't worry about these messages because we do service the vehicles regularly. However, sometimes the computer plays up and we cannot reset the service mileage as we like to. Do not worry about these things because the vehicles are being taken care of. Go back to the center dashboard again. Something that I should mention because there will be questions. This is a button where you can lock and unlock the doors from inside, but there's only one door that you can actually lock and unlock, which is the driver's door. It's more a function for vans, which got more doors. One more button I should mention here is this little heater button here. If I press it and the engine is running, a red light comes on. This activates the booster heater, which is under the vehicle, and there's a little exhaust coming out under your driver's door. It can be a bit smoky at times, so if you see smoke coming out from underneath the vehicle, don't declare it a breakdown, don't evacuate the vehicle. It's the booster heater, a little webasto combustion heater, which can smoke at times. This booster heater heats up the coolant water until 80 degrees, much faster than the engine could do it. It's very helpful if you would like to preheat the inside of the vehicle before you pick up your passengers so that they can get into a comfortably warm vehicle in winter. I recommend to leave this on all year round because it will also reduce the time that the engine is actually running on cold engine oil, because as it heats up the coolant water, it also heats up the engine. So it will give the engine a longer life. As we go to the right of your dashboard here, you find the usual controls for the headlights, and if you pull it out, you switch on the rear fog light. The rear fog light can only switch on if you have the other lights on, so you can't actually pull it if you just have it on zero or got the parking lights on. This will change the beam. If your boot is fully loaded, the rear of the vehicle will go down and the nose will go up, and so will the beam of your headlights. In that case, you might want to turn it down a bit so you wouldn't blind oncoming traffic. These are the controls for the mirror. You can set your mirror, control it electrically. Have a look into the mirror. Yeah, you can move it left and right, very handy. You can adjust your view. That's it, and I hope there are no questions left. Oh, one thing I should mention before there will be questions. This button, this is the indicator with the wiper and the screen wash function, but this one, it's got a double function. It's the speed limiter and it's also operating the cruise control. If the yellow light is on, the speed limiter is active. How it works is explained in the Mercedes manual, but if the yellow light is on and you notice that your vehicle is not exceeding a certain speed and it's a bit slow, then check if the speed limiter is actually activated. Press the push the button in, press the thing, and make the yellow light disappear, and you will see that your vehicle should go up to the default speed limit at 62 miles or 100 kilometers an hour. Right.